So, good morning, everyone, and this is lecture number 13. And we are supposed to start with the last topic for this particular section, the graphs. Before going on to graphs, let us have a quick recap of what we had done in the previous class. In the previous class, we were dealing with motion under gravity. Do we remember this? We were dealing with motion under gravity, and we had seen the case where a ball is thrown up, and what happens when the ball is thrown up. How do we make equations? Do we remember those equations? How we made? We could find the value of this height h1, that it eventually reaches this time t1 from these two equations. And if someone asks us what is the velocity with which it falls, or what is the total time, we can make equations directly from a to b. Do we remember this? Yes or no? Okay, just to log that concept, I will give you a couple of questions where the ball is thrown up from a height. Once you understand that how are we supposed to use this equation, then we will move on with the questions on graphs. Okay, let me see if I have the question. Yes, here is the question that I get, and I hope that you can give me the answer for this one. The first question for the day, and it comes right away. So that is the question. Question number one. Let's see if you can get me the answer for this one. A stone is shot vertically upwards with a speed of 20 meters per second from a tower which is 20 meters high. What is the speed with which it will strike the ground? I'm on the top of a tower that is 200 meters high. I throw a stone upwards, vertically upwards. With what velocity is it going to strike ground? That is the first question that we are asking. I'll give you 1 minute, 2 minutes to solve this. Yes, beta. With what velocity, or they're asking you with what speed it is going to strike the ground? Any answers? I must tell you that I gave this question in yesterday's NEET class, and they were able to solve it, all of them. And all of them gave me the answer. So I hope that you can do better than them. Remember, I always keep on telling you, beta, When you come to the class, before coming to the class, previous day, evening, please go through what we had done in the class. How many of you study when you are at home? The last class? Only girls from the first center. No, no boys. Please better remember, if you think that I am Dumbledore, though I am as old as Dumbledore, but I'm not Dumbledore. And we are not in Hogwarts. I don't have a magic wand. We don't have a magic wand. That you come to this institute and all of a sudden I will wave that magic wand. Ooh, whoosh! And all of a sudden IITians will emerge out of you. Or you will become Harry Potters and Hermione's. No, it's not going to happen. The only way you are going to clear JEE is when you study at home. If you don't do your job at home, no one can make you clear JEE. Please study. Please. Even if you wake up now, we have not covered that much of course that you cannot cover it up again. So please study, because if this question is taking so much of time, that means you have just not seen what we had done in the last class. So if you have not seen what we had done in the last class, there is no point of giving you so much of time, because I know that you can't do it. I had to find out the speed which with the stone strikes the ground. This is the case where the body is thrown up from certain height. Now these are the equations that I have made. This equation, the first one is of no use. It is not going to give me anything. The second equation, no use, not going to give me anything. The third equation is only useful when I know total time, which I don't know, no use. The fourth equation, no use, there is no velocity there. The only equation that is of any use is the fifth one or the third one, where we have the final velocity v, we had the initial velocity u, and we had all those terms which are known. So I'm going to use this equation. I'm going to use this equation to solve, put the values, get the answers, and stay happy, which I'm sure that you also want to stay happy, but the way you are dealing with the course right now, it is going to be very tough. So we understand that this is the only equation that is going to give us the answer, because the rest of the equations are useless in this case. So I just apply that equation and I will get my answer. The equation that I'm going to use is v square is equal to u square plus 2 times a into the displacement. I don't know v square, so I write v square. The value of u is given as 20. It is plus 20 because it is thrown upwards. So I will write it as plus 20 square plus 2 times. We all know how much is the acceleration. It is minus 10. We all know how much is the displacement. Particle is on the top. It is going to reach the bottom. So it is going to go downwards. First, it is going to go upwards. Then it is going to go downward. But the next displacement is initial position and the final position. That is 200. But it is from top to bottom. So it is minus. That is the answer that I was expecting. And I was expecting that you could have done this. It is shameful that you could not do this, because your friends from the NEET class were able to do it. And I guess for NEET, physics is more difficult for those students because they are from bio. But if they could do this and you could not, well, you can gauge yourself. Okay, so that was the answer. I think the answer is coming somewhere close to 65 meter per second. I hope you understood this, yes or no? And I hope you have woken up to the crude fact that we are not doing so good. Do we understand that we are doing so bad? Do we understand this? Yes or no? We understand that we are doing bad. Do we also understand what we need to do to become better? Yes or no? Do we understand what we need to do? We don't understand. So if we don't understand what we need to do better sit at home, and why spend so much money in coming to the class if it's of no use? So I hope that better sense will prevail and you would do better in the coming question. The only way you are going to clear JEE by any stretch of imagination is by working hard. That is the only way. If you think that in 1 hour of class of physics or 8 hours of class in the institute, you are going to clear it, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not going to happen unless you do what you are supposed to do at home, practice question, see what has been taught in the class. I can assure you whatever questions I am doing in the class, same questions are going to come in your exam. But if you don't do them, I don't know who will help you. Okay, here comes a question. Let's see if you can do this. And I hope better sense will prevail this time. So, this is the question number 2. It has been taken from your module. This is example number 13. If you have the module, you can check it from the module. I try to do as many questions from your module as possible so that you have that question with you and you can see the question with your own hand, with your own eyes. Question number 2. A stone is dropped from a balloon going up with a uniform velocity of 5 meters per second. If the balloon was 60 meters high when the stone was dropped, find its height when the stone hits the ground. Interesting. This is the first question where something has been dropped from something which is already moving. Up till now, we were dropping things from the tower. Tower was not moving. This is the first time we are dropping things from something which is moving. How does it affect? I hope you would be able to understand and tell me how are you going to solve it. And I really hope, because I've been working and I know you also been working so hard to get good results. I've been spending sleepless night to understand what can be done better so that students start to perform better. But again, I'm helpless unless and until I get help from you. I won't be able to do anything. But yeah, if you help me, I can assure you I will give you in writing on a stamp paper that no one is going to stop you from clearing JEE. But if you don't do your job, nothing is going to happen better. And I'm so disappointed. Anyways, I hope that the disappointment can turn around. We have not done so much that you cannot turn it around. Still time. Wake up. Please wake up. The festive season, the festivities are over. For you, there is no festival. No Diwali, no Dashera, no Eid, no Guru Parv. For you, the only festival is the exam that is going to come after 2 years. If you enjoy all these festivals for the coming 2 years, I can assure you, you will not be able to enjoy any festival in the future because you will have nothing to enjoy. But if you now enjoy them sensibly and get over them as soon as they are over and work towards your ultimate aim, I am sure every festival that comes after it, you will have a jolly good time. So, either you enjoy now and suffer for the rest of your life, or you work hard now and probably enjoy the rest of your life. The choice is yours. This is a democratic country. We don't live in China, thankfully. Anyone with an answer for this one? I'm supposed to find out where the balloon is when the stone hits the ground. So how I'm going to find it out? The balloon is moving up with a uniform velocity of 5 meters per second. The first question is the motion of the balloon, can we consider the motion of the balloon as motion under gravity? Yes or no? Is the motion of the balloon an example of motion under gravity? Do we understand the question that I am telling you? How are you going to find out the distance or the height of the balloon when the stone hits the ground? How are you going to find it out? Any idea? No idea. Okay, then if you have no idea, then I should solve the question. There is no point of waiting for it if you don't have any idea how you are going to do it. So it's better that I solve it for you. So this is the condition. The balloon is at a height of 60 meters, and from this height, a stone is dropped from this point A. Now I am supposed to find out the height when the stone hits the ground. Now this balloon is moving up. It is moving up with a uniform velocity of 5 meters per second. This balloon is powered by hot air. This hot air is pushing it up. So therefore, apart from gravity, there are other forces acting on it. Therefore, this balloon is not an example of projectile motion. It is moving with a uniform velocity of 5 meters per second. It cannot move with a uniform velocity if it is moving under gravity. Some force must be acting on it, and that is the force of the hot air which is pushing it up. I want to find out what is the height of the balloon when the stone hits the ground. So I imagine that stone takes t seconds to hit the ground. Stone takes t seconds to hit the ground. So if I can find out how much time it takes to hit the ground, I will just multiply it by the uniform velocity and I will get the height it has gone up. Let us suppose that that height is h. So what is the height of balloon from ground? 60 meter, it is already up. If I find out this h, 60 plus h would be the total height of the balloon from the ground. To get that height, I must know the value of u. U is already given. So the only question here is find the value of t, the time when the stone hits the ground. So that is the only thing that we need to find out. How I'm going to find out? How am I going to find it out? I will have to apply equations. Now, as soon as this stone is thrown or dropped, this stone is moving under gravity. So the motion of stone is motion under gravity. The motion of the balloon is definitely not motion under gravity, but the motion of stone is definitely motion under gravity. So I look for the motion of this stone. How is the motion of this stone? The stone is here initially and then it is going to fall down. So I have to study the motion of the stone from A to B. If I'm able to make out how much time it takes to go from A to B, that is it. That should settle the case. So I am going to make equations for the stone, not for the balloon, because balloon is already going up. For the stone, if I have to make the equation from A to B, which equation should I make? to get the time. Yes. Which equation should I use? Anyone?
Second equation, sir.
Second equation. Well done. Okay, so tell me what is the second equation, bacha?
Delta R is equal to UT plus 1 by 2 AT square.
Whoa, very good. Delta T is equal delta R is equal to UT plus half AT square. Tell me what is this delta R equal to?
Displacement
Do you know how much is that?
60 meters.
60 meters. 60 meter, that's it, or something else we should do with it? What type of quantity is displacement?
Vector
60 meters. That's it, or something else we should do?
$60 meters from A to B.
Sir, minus 60 meters.
Minus 60 meters. Why minus?
Onwards.
Downwards, sir.
Okay, good. So it is minus 60 meters. Well done. So I write it as minus 60. Okay, is equal to. Do we know how much is U? Initial velocity of the stone.
5 meters.
But the question says that it is dropped from the balloon. How are you saying it is 5 meters?
Sir, 0, sir.
So either it is 5 or it is 0. Which one is
0.
correct? How many for 0? So many for 0. How many for 5? Only 2 girls and 1 boy. 3 against everything. Democracy wins. But this is not an election. This is physics. Democracy does not win here. The answer is 5. Why is the answer 5? Because the stone is in the balloon. When I drop it, it does not drop with with velocity 0, but it drops with a velocity which is equal to the velocity of the balloon. I gave you an example of the train. If you drop something from the train, does it fall exactly downwards? No. It falls some distance forwards, because while you are dropping it, if you are moving in a car and if you have my mobile phone in that car, what is the velocity of this mobile phone? It is same as the velocity of the car. Yes or no? So while you are in a balloon, everyone has the velocity of the balloon. Stone, the thread, the big dabba, the basket, everything has the velocity of the balloon. So that is the initial velocity of the stone. When it is dropped, it means that the velocity of stone with respect to the balloon is 0. Do we understand this? So now what is the value of U? Again ask the question, what is the value of U?
5 meters per second.
U is a vector. You do lot of disservice to physics when you don't call them as vectors. You just call them as numbers.
Sir, minus 5.
Open your eyes. You can only see 4% of the universe, but the 4% of the universe that we see is absolutely stunning. Try again. What is the value of U? It is plus 5 because it is upwards. Plus 5. Please remember it. Do not say vectors without sign, otherwise they are going to kill you. What about T? This T I don't know, so I have to find out the value of this T. So I'll just write it as T plus half. What is the value of A?
10 minus 10.
That is correct. Give them the respect vectors and they will help you out. This is a very simple quadratic equation in T. It will give you 2 times Can you tell me what are the 2 times that you're getting? I'm not going to solve it for you. This is a quadratic equation. You can solve it. You should be able to do it. It's a quadratic equation in t. It will give you 2 values of t. Can you tell me what are the values of t you are getting? First. Waiting for the answers, my dear friends. And I hope you don't disappoint me. I don't get disappointed easily. That is one fact. Always keep on trying different things. Yes, bacha. I hope you remember how to solve a quadratic equation. You should be able to do it. You know it. Don't worry.
4 seconds, sir.
A quadratic equation has 2 roots, bacha. So don't tell me both the roots. That would be better. Tell me both of the roots. I think one is 4 and the other one is -3. Yes or no? -3 is not possible. So the answer is t is equal to 4. But the question was not finding out the time it takes to hit the ground. The question was to find out how high is the balloon when the stone hits the ground. Now, bacha, can you tell me the real answer? How high is the balloon when the stone hits the ground? What is the height of the balloon from the ground? Height of the balloon from the ground. And the answer is what is the height of the balloon from the ground? No one knows what is the height of the balloon from the ground? The answers are not going to come out of the whiteboard. How do you find out the height of the balloon from the ground? Look at the diagram. This is the height of the balloon from the ground. This y. What is the value of this y?
Sorry, 80.
How did you
85.
get 80, beta? How did you get 80?
H is equal to UT.
H is equal to ut. So u is how much? 5 into t. So 5 into 4, that is 20. So h is 20. But you are saying the answer is 80. H is only 20. How is the answer 80?
Plus 60, sir.
Plus 60, sir, because 60 meter it is already up. So it is 60 plus 20. And the answer is 80 meters high. The balloon is 80 meters high when the stone touches the ground. Do we understand this? What has happened here?
Sir.
The balloon was going up. The stone was in the balloon. The stone was dropped. We have to find out the height of the balloon when the stone hits the ground. To find out that, I must find out the time taken by the balloon, no, time taken by the stone to hit the ground. I use equation number 2, S is equal to, or delta R is equal to ut plus half at square. Displacement is minus 60 because the stone is initially at the highest point and then it is moving. It's at the higher point and it is moving downward, so displacement is negative. The initial velocity of the balloon is the velocity. The initial velocity of the stone is the velocity of the balloon, that is 5 in the upward direction. Acceleration is 10 in the downward direction. I put the values, I get the value of time. Then I find out how high the balloon would have risen, u into t. Balloon is moving with a uniform velocity. I add it with 60 and I end up with my answer. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Anyone understand this? Okay. Let us see if you can do this one. So I give you another one. And I hope that you should be able to do this one. I'm expecting a question of this nature to come in your exam. A balloon starts rising from ground. So here also balloon. Instead of uniform velocity, it starts with an acceleration of 1.2 meter per second square. Good. Good for it. After 8 seconds, stone is released from the balloon. What will happen to the stone? Our friend G is 10 meter per second square. Then there are 4 options. Let's see who gets me this one. Remember, all the questions are simple. G is to be taken as 10 meter per second square. Shall I help you, bacha, in solving it? Or you will be able to do this? This question is similar to the question that we have already done, somewhat different. Were you able to solve it? Or shall I help you out?
Sir, answer is D, sir.
Answer is
D, sir.
D, sir. Well done. So you have an answer. Good. That means you have tried. Well done. That is good enough. Trying is good enough. Getting the answer may not be, but trying is good enough. D. Okay. But tell me, how did you do it? Let us do it together with all students combining together. Cover a distance of 40 meters. Answer is not important. How we have done this is important. Tell me how you have done this. Tell me.
Delta R is equal to UT plus half AT square, sir.
Okay. Well done. Delta R is equal to UT plus half AT square. So basically, okay. Now, I've written the equation. Now what do I do? Tell me what I need to put here. I need to put something there, right? Writing the equation is not going to help anything. What do I need to put, bacha? Nothing. Just write the equation and sit. Okay. Nice thought. But I'm afraid the equation is not going to solve itself. The values are not going to come inside it and share and get put. Anyone? What are we going to do? Anyone tried or not? No one seems to have tried. That is not good. Anyways, if I compare this with the previous question that I had done, in the previous question, there were two things that were specifically mentioned. The first thing that was mentioned was what was the velocity of the balloon, and the second thing that was mentioned was what was the height of the balloon. Because these two things were required to solve the question, the velocity of the balloon was actually the velocity of the stone, and the height of the balloon from where the stone was dropped was the height from which the stone is going to fall down. So these are the two things first that I must find out, because without finding out those two things, this question does not get solved. Do we understand this? Do we understand the first point of this entire question is that I have to first find out the velocity of the balloon and how high is the balloon from ground. So to find out this, let me call this height as h, and let me call this velocity at this point as u. How I'm going to find out this h and this u? There must be something given that will help me in finding it out. Is there anything given that you can see? Is there anything given that you can see?
Acceleration is 1.25 meter per second square.
Well done. Nice observation. Acceleration is given as 1.25 meter per second square. Anything else is given?
Seconds,
Sir,
8 seconds.
8 seconds.
8 seconds is given. Time is given. Displacement is given. Anything else is also given?
G, sir.
Gravitational.
Gravitational.
Okay, G is given. G is already known to me. Anything else is given? It starts That means it starts from rest. So initial velocity of the balloon is given. Do we understand this?
Sir, answer is A.
Okay, I have a different answer. Answer is A. Good. That means we are trying. Let us find the answer together. Okay, let me now make the equation for balloon. Oops, why I'm writing from? I should write 4. Let us make the equation for balloon. Let us first make the equation for balloon. Let me make a line like this. For balloon, the first equation that I'm writing is V is equal to U plus AT for the balloon. This V, actually I should write this. Okay. What is the value of this V? What is the value of this U for the balloon?
0, sir.
0, sir. Well done, sir. 0 plus what is the acceleration of the balloon?
1.25 meter per second, sir.
Okay, what is the acceleration of the balloon? It is 1.25 meter per second square. What is happening here? Okay, so I write it as 1.25. What is the time for the balloon to rise up? What is the time for the balloon?
8 seconds, sir.
8 seconds. So I put this value, I will get the value of V. How much is V I am getting?
10.
10 plus 10 or minus 10? Plus 10 because it is going up. Yes or no? Everything is positive. Now this V, which is the velocity of balloon after 8 seconds, is actually this U. Yes or no? Do we understand this for the stone? Yes or no? You understand this? Okay. Now I write the second equation for the balloon. The second equation will be delta R will be UT plus half AT square. The displacement of the balloon is h in the upward direction. So I'll write it as plus h. So h is equal to initial velocity for the balloon is 0, 0 plus half. Acceleration of the balloon is 1.25. 1.25 into time is 8 square. From here, bacha, I will get the value of h, the height where the balloon was after 8 seconds. Can you tell me what is the height that you are getting?
Forty meters, sir.
Sure? 40 meters or 80 meters? 40 na? Pakka?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 40 meters. Now I can start the journey for the balloon. And let us look at the option. Let us forget the first option. Let us look at the second option. The second option says that the balloon will begin to move down after being released. Second option. The balloon will move down after it is released. Is it yes or no? Is it correct or false? Does the balloon move down after being released? No, it does not move down because it first moves
Upwards.
up, velocity becomes 0, then it moves down. Do we understand this? Well done, bacha. So this option is wrong. Let us look at the third option. It has a displacement of 50 meters. Does it have a displacement of 50 meters, my dear friends? This is the point from where it is dropped. This is the point where it falls. Is the displacement 50 meters? Magnitude of displacement 50 meters? Yes or no?
No, sir.
The magnitude of displacement is how much?
40 meters.
The magnitude of displacement is 40 meters. Therefore, this option is also wrong. Do we understand this? Let us look at the fourth option. Cover a distance of 40 meters in reaching ground. Does it cover a distance of 40 meters? It is here. It will first go up, then come down. Does it cover a distance of 40 meters? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
No, sir. It first goes up, then it comes down. The distance covered is not 40 meters, sir. Displacement ka magnitude is 40 meters, sir. Distance covered is not 40 meters, sir. So this option is also wrong. So you don't have to calculate anything. You get the answer straight away as option number 1. And option number 1 is the correct answer. Now, how do I get this answer? Just wait, I will show it to you. Now I make my equation for the stone. Now I make the equation for the stone. Which equation I am going to use? I am going to use delta R is equal to UT plus half AT square. I hope everyone agrees with this equation. Yes or no? What is the displacement, my dear friends? Tell me fatafat. Quickly, tell me the displacement quickly.
40 meters. Mine is 40 meters.
Displacement is a vector quantity. Bacha, if you don't give it the respect, it will kill you. Minus 40 meters. What is the value of u?
0.
We are talking about the stone, my dear friends. Why did we calculate this pink thing? Just to keep it in the showcase and put it, wow, we have calculated V. Let us keep it there. And watch it. It looks good. 10 meters, it looks good. Why did we calculate this V? Because it is the initial velocity of the stone. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Thank God. We understand this. So it is plus 10 into T. We don't know T. Plus half. How much is the acceleration for the balloon? For the stone? How much is the acceleration for the stone?
Minus 10.
Minus 10 into T square. I don't know why I have changed the color of the pen. Minus 10 into T square. This is a very simple quadratic equation which you should be able to solve and get the value of T. I think someone already has solved it. Can you tell me what is the value of T you are getting from here?
4 seconds.
4 seconds. So time is 4 seconds and that option is correct. This 4-second wala option is correct. But here also comes a question where if it comes in JEE, you may have what is the distance traveled by the stone? And we are going to discuss this small point. What is the distance traveled by the stone? One of the students said the distance traveled is 40 meters. If it is not 40 meters, then what is? 40 meters is the magnitude of displacement. Initial position is here, final position is downward. The magnitude is 40 meters, but that is not the distance traveled. How do I find out the distance traveled? How do I find out the distance traveled? I will give you 2 minutes. Think about it. and tell me the answer for the distance traveled by the stone, because that is the only thing that is left. That is the only thing that is left. Distance traveled by the stone. 2 minutes. Think about it. Think about what is happening. Think about how the motion of the stone is, and I'm sure you can get the answer. We have understood what we have discussed in this question, everyone. Everything that we have found out was for a reason. We have taken inspiration from the previous question. We understood what all things we need in hand to solve the previous question. We found out those things in this question and then solved it as the previous one. I'll give you 2 minutes to tell me how do we find out the distance traveled by the stone. Two minutes, think about it. Okay, so now is the time that I tell you how we find out the distance traveled by the stone. If I look at the journey of the stone was thrown or dropped from here. How much is this height? This height was 40 meters. Yes or no? It was thrown up with a velocity 10 meters per second. Yes or no? So it will go up to some point, let us say C. If I can find out this height h, let us find out this height h. How can you find out this height h? How high it rises further? So I can use v square is equal to u square plus 2 times a into the displacement. At the highest point where it goes, its final velocity becomes 0, yes or no? So I put those values. This is 0. U square is 10 square plus 10 square plus 2 times acceleration is minus 10 into this height h. That is the displacement, this height h. Do we understand this? From here, I can get the value of this h. How high will the stone go further? Can you tell me what is the value of this h that we are getting? What is the value of h that we are getting? What is the value of h that we are getting? We will getting it as 5 meters from this equation. Now, if I ask you what is the distance traveled by the stone, look at the stone. The stone is here. It goes up till point C. Then it comes down from C to the same point. Then it goes down. What is the distance traveled by the stone?
45 meters, sir.
50 meters, sir. Because if when it goes up, it also comes down, my dear friends. Goes up 5 meters, comes down 5 meters, then goes down 40 meters. Therefore, the distance traveled is 50 meters. So you look at option C and D. If you look at option C and D, if you look at option C and D, the options are given in the reverse order. And option number C says displacement is 50 meters. Option D says distance is 40 meters. It should be the reverse. Displacement is 40 meters in the downward direction and distance traveled is 50 meters. So if the options were like this, distance traveled is 50 meters and displacement, the magnitude is 40 meters, C and D were also correct. Do we understand this? This is how we find out the distance traveled. If you understand the picture, what is happening, and we use simple equations, we should be able to solve any question that comes in the examination hall. With this, we bring to an end of the chapter on motion under gravity. From the next class onwards, we will start with the graphs. I intended to start the graphs today, but since we got stuck in motion under gravity, we could not start the next topic. We start the next topic in the next class. Take care and have a very nice day. Bye bye. God bless you all.